Hi everyone, and welcome back to our philosophy channel. Today we're diving into a fascinating topic, one that challenges some traditional ways of thinking about who we are as human beings. We're exploring an argument by philosopher Peter Frederick Strawson, who claims that the concept of a person is fundamental, so fundamental that it cannot be reduced to just the body or the mind. This might sound surprising, because many theories try to explain personal identity by pointing to either our physical bodies or our psychological traits. But according to Strawson, trying to break down the idea of a person in this way misses something essential. Instead, he argues that persons are basic, whole entities that serve as the foundation for how we understand ourselves and others. In today's video, we'll break down Strawson's view, look at how it differs from traditional theories, and even use an interesting thought experiment to explore these ideas. By the end, you'll see how Strawson's theory influences not just our understanding of identity but also ethics and responsibility. Let's get started. First, let's quickly review some traditional ways of thinking about personal identity. These approaches are often called reductionist because they try to reduce personal identity to simpler elements like the body or the mind. Two major theories are: 1. Bodily continuity. This theory suggests that you remain the same person as long as your body stays the same over time. If your body persists, you do too. 2. Psychological continuity. This theory focuses on the mind, your thoughts, memories, and experiences as the core of your identity. If your psychological life remains continuous, then you are the same person. While these views seem intuitive, they face some challenges. What happens if you undergo significant physical changes, like a loss of memory or a major alteration in personality? Are you still the same person? Both theories struggle to provide a full answer to such questions. This is where Strawson steps in with a different approach. He argues that neither the body nor the mind alone can fully explain what it means to be a person. In his view, the concept of a person is what we call primitive, not in the sense of being simple, but in the sense of being foundational. It's a basic concept that we can't break down into simpler parts, like body or mind. Strawson describes persons as basic particulars. In philosophy, a particular is just an individual entity, something that exists in the world. Strawson says that persons are basic because we understand them as whole entities that cannot be reduced to their physical or mental components alone. This means that when we talk about a person, we don't separate their body from their mind. We naturally understand them as a being that has both physical and mental characteristics together. According to Strawson, this combination is essential, and trying to reduce a person to just one side misses the bigger picture. To illustrate this, let's use a thought experiment that's common in science fiction, the mind-body swap. Imagine that Alice and Bob switch minds. Alice's mind is now in Bob's body, and Bob's mind is in Alice's body. Now, here's the question: who is Alice? Is Alice the person with her original body, or is she the person now inhabiting Bob's body with her mind? According to reductionist theories, the answer depends. A bodily continuity theorist might say Alice is still the person with her original body. A psychological continuity theorist would say Alice is now in Bob's body because her mind, with all her memories and personality traits, has moved. But for Strawson, this approach misses the point. He would argue that the concept of Alice as a person can't be reduced to just her body or her mind. In real life, we don't encounter people as bodies or minds alone, we meet them as whole beings, where both physical and mental aspects are involved. Strawson's view highlights that a person is more than just the sum of their parts. This thought experiment helps show how Strawson's view differs from traditional reductionist theories. It's not that body and mind don't matter, they do. But neither one fully explains personal identity by itself. For Strawson, the concept of a person is fundamental, meaning it involves both aspects together from the start. Now, let's bring this idea back to everyday life, because Strawson was really concerned with how we understand persons in the world around us, not just in science fiction scenarios. Think about how we talk about people in daily conversation. We might say Sarah is tall and thoughtful, or James is funny and has blue eyes. We naturally refer to both physical characteristics like being tall or having blue eyes and psychological traits like being thoughtful or funny when we describe someone. We don't separate these elements, we describe the whole person. This is exactly what Strawson means. Our everyday experience treats people as whole entities, not divided into just their physical or psychological components. We don't think of someone's body and mind as two separate things, we think of the person as a unified being. And that's why the concept of a person is so fundamental in our understanding of the world. Strawson's theory has important implications for ethics and responsibility too. For example, consider cases of personal responsibility. If we followed a purely psychological theory of identity, someone might try to avoid responsibility for a past action by saying, "I don't remember doing that, I'm not the same person." But Strawson's view suggests that we hold persons accountable as whole beings. It's not just about what memories they have or what their body looks like. Our concept of a person is broader than that. We treat people as responsible for their actions because we see them as complete individuals, not just as collections of bodily or psychological traits. This insight helps explain why we naturally think of responsibility in terms of the person as a whole, not just their mind or body in isolation. Strawson's theory also challenges both reductionism and the empiricist approach to personal identity. Reductionist theories, especially those rooted in empiricism, often focus on observable facts about the body or mind to explain personal identity. But Strawson argues that this approach misses the full picture. For him, the concept of a person is something fundamental. It's not something we derive by observing separate physical or mental characteristics. Instead, persons are basic to how we understand the world. We start with the concept of a person, and only later do we talk about their body or mind. This challenges traditional reductionist and empiricist approaches because it suggests that identity can't be fully explained by breaking it down into observable elements. Instead, the person as a whole is the foundation of how we make sense of identity, ethics, and responsibility. To sum up, Strawson's argument is that the concept of a person is primitive and cannot be reduced to bodily or psychological continuity. This idea has far-reaching implications for how we think about identity and responsibility. Persons, in Strawson's view, are basic particulars in our conceptual framework. They're not something we can break down into simpler parts like body or mind. This challenges traditional reductionist theories and shows the fundamental role that the concept of a person plays in shaping how we perceive the world. I hope this video helped clarify these ideas. Strawson's theory invites us to reconsider how we think about ourselves and others, not just as bodies or minds, but as whole persons who are central to our understanding of reality. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more philosophy content. And as always, feel free to share your thoughts or questions in the comments below.